Welcome back inside the Chamber of Truth with your co-host Leak and Josh. We got Kane back with us, becoming a regular. So today we want to start with talking about Saul Canelo Alvarez and his potential next fight. He is currently in talks. There's rumors of him being in talks with two opponents right now. One, William Skull, super middleweight, and then one, Terrence Crawford, a welterweight who could potentially be brought up to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo's on his Kobe tour, by the way.
Canelo has been on many of platforms saying that he's at the point in his career that he's going to do what he wants to do, fight who he wants to fight. He doesn't feel the pressure from the fans, from sanctioning bodies, or from nobody to take any fight that anyone wants him to take. So with that being said, right now the two options, William Skull and Terrence Crawford. Now, obviously, everybody knows who Terrence Crawford is. William Skull is a bit more of an unknown. So if he takes this fight, I can only imagine there's going to be a lot of backlash for him taking this fight. Probably if he takes either fight. Well, let's start with William Skull because we probably won't spend too much time on this one. So what do you know about dude? And is this fight something that is a good fight for Canelo? What does it look like?
I think this could possibly be a good fight for Canelo. So William Skull, a lot of people don't know him, but William Skull is a very, very talented 168-pound. Well, he was a contender at 168 pounds, but now he's a world champion because obviously the International Boxing Federation, the IBF, stripped Canelo Alvarez because they basically longer wanted him hogging all four belts. So I understood that. They gave the belt to William Skull, who I believe I forgot who he defeated, but he fought for a vacant belt.
Last one was against Vladimir Shishkin.
Yep. Shishkin, who was actually a very good fighter himself at 168 pounds, to be honest with you. But only a purist would know that personally. But you know, he beat Vladimir Shishkin. Obviously, now he's a 168-pound champion. And honestly, William Skull, basically, he's your quintessential Cuban boxer. Very well-schooled, has a very deep amateur background. An amateur star who basically defected and actually is based in Berlin, Germany, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously he's climbed the ladder, but now he's a champion. So he's about 6 foot tall. I think he has about a 74 or 75 inch reach. He, like I said, very good technical boxer. He can punch. And to be honest with you, I feel like he could possibly give Canelo problems with his, fundamentals. And he has good distance management, has a pretty good jab. Has a nice one too. But at the same time, Canelo Alvarez, if he's in talks with somebody, it's because he thinks he can beat him, and chances are he can. But William Skull still has a chance. But in my opinion, I feel like if you're gonna take a fight to make, you have to make the Bud fight. It's a lot. It's worth a lot more money. It's a lot more eyes on the event. It's a much bigger event. Turki Al-Sheikh will most likely get involved with a lot more money, and obviously it's a safer fight for Canelo as well. But that's the thing that I think Canelo is going to be conflicted with choosing. Do I want to take a safe fight with Terrence Bud Crawford, who, to be honest with you, it's kind of a lose-lose situation other than me getting paid. Because the thing is, if I beat him, I'm supposed to beat him anyway. If I lose to him, this might be the biggest stand of my legacy. This is going to clearly knock me out of the race of being the greatest Mexican fighter ever to live.
Which is, I would almost argue that the Bud fight is not the safer fight because it's more risky if he does lose it.
Exactly.
The William Skull fight, all it really offers to him is
just another body
and another chance to be undisputed
and the thing is, another chance to be two-time undisputed champion. And that's the thing is, Canelo is going after these accolades.
He's already been there, done that though. So
Absolutely.
I don't know how accomplishing that is. If you they took your belt, gave it to him, and you go get it back.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let me ask you, Ken, if you had to choose between one or two, go back and face Bud. You can go back and face Bud. Obviously, it's going to be a huge event. It's going to be a worldwide event. This is going to be a national coverage. More money, more eyes, more celebrities at the event. But in terms of the sport, you damn near have to be. You have to be. I'm talking about you have to look good. You have got to beat him. Or you can take William Skull, who obviously, could be more of a little bit of a challenge, but at the same time, nobody really, unless you're a purist. And to be honest with you, as a purist, that's not an appealing fight for me.
Yeah,
I'll watch it, but it's not the most appealing fight.
What are the other options? We know he's not gonna fight Benavidez. We know, like, bro, you just go fight Bud, bro.
You might as well.
Might as well.
You might as well fight
Might
Bud.
as well fight Bud. I'm looking at William Scholes. He's literally only fought in the United States one time. Every other fight he's had has been in Germany and Argentina. I mean, he's 23 and 0 with 9 knockouts. Bro, just like you said, Canelo's been there, done that. You're literally gonna go get back the title they stripped you from, and then what after that? You gonna circle back around to Bud after the fact? I mean, like, what's after that if you do that and go back and get the IBF title? Literally, what are your options after that?
I will say this. In my opinion, this is a much more appealing fight to me than Edgar Berlanga. I know Edgar Berlanga has the street culture and kind of the American Brooklyn, Brooklyn and Bronx hype around him, that New York flash and flair. But in terms of sport, William Scholes is a much better and more experienced opponent and more well-schooled opponent than an Edgar Berlanga fight to Canelo. Like, this would pose an actual problem to Canelo.
If that is true, then I don't think he'll be making that fight.
Right.
I mean, if he's the better fighter and doesn't
I
bring,
just say it's more competitive.
and
I would
doesn't
say
that's what I'm saying. If he's more a competitive, more of a challenge than an Edgar Berlanga and doesn't bring that cultural aspect of the draw or the American, culture and fan base and the Puerto Ricans and Fat Joe and all that. If he's not bringing something like that, why does it make sense for Canelo to go fight William Scholes
exactly.
as opposed to, okay, yeah, it's risky because if I take Bud and I lose or don't look good, now I've just tarnished my 168 legacy against somebody who's really just came up from 147.
Absolutely.
So that is dangerous on one hand. But if you're the best, then be the best.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get into that fight more because that's the one that's going to draw is going to have attention and excitement.
Absolutely.
The only reason because is Bud has such a great skill set that people think it may even be a possibility it could translate up that high. Can it? I don't know. We don't really know.
Right.
You can only project and guess. Bud is technically a half-inch taller than Canelo. He has a 4-inch arm reach advantage over Canelo, which doesn't mean he's necessarily a bigger fighter than Canelo. We know that Canelo is stout. He's really built, put together.
Right.
He's been fighting up at heavyweights. He's been up as high as 175. Bud just had his first fight at 154. And it was a tough fight. He did his thing against Madrimov, but Madrimov was a real tough opponent. All the feigning he did gave Bud some trouble. Didn't get a knockout. He stopped everyone at 147. The glove size is different, moving up in weight. So now we don't know how well Bud is going to translate to 68 if this fight gets made. Do y'all think Bud can win this fight if it gets made?
Let me ask you, Ken, what you think?
Oh, bro.
I don't want to hear no. Ain't no time for that. Ain't no time for that when you get in the ring. Ain't no time for hesitation.
Man, I don't like going. I don't like betting money against Bud or just like going against Bud at all. But like you said, Canelo's been fighting at a heavier weight. Obviously, very skilled fighter. And like you said, Bud stopped everybody at 47. He had a hard time with Madrimov at 54. A lot of feints, a lot of good different angles, which is similar to what Canelo does. Canelo's very good at feinting. He's very good with his angles. I'd be hard pressed to say that I wouldn't see Canelo winning this fight if I'm being honest.
Josh?
Malik.
It's your turn. I will close it. I'm the host.
You don't have to be the host today. I want to hear your opinion.
I think Bud can win the fight.
I'm not mad at that.
And that's exactly why I told you to go second, because I knew something was in your eye. Now say why.
I think Terrence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. Am I saying he's going to for sure? No. Yeah. But can he? Yes, because I do think he's the more skilled boxer in this matchup. Now Canelo has improved over the years, specifically after the Floyd Mayweather fight with his defensive prowess. So he's not really just to come forward, stand there, and left hook, right hook you like some of the other fighters that come from the camp he's in. So he has improved technically, but I do think that Bud is still the more skillful and more versatile fighter. Obviously, we know he can switch hit. Whether that plays a big role or not, we'll have to see. But we know he can switch hit. He has power in both hands. He's quick twitch, athletic on both ends of offensively and defensively. He's a great counterpuncher, and he's really good with distance management. We just saw him against another really big built fighter and similar in stature to Canelo Alvarez and Israel Madrimov. Yes, he took some hits in that fight. It was a tough fight, but he was able to come out on top. I think if there's anybody who could come up and win a fight like that, it's somebody with Terrence Crawford's skill set.
No, I'm not mad at that at all. If he won, I wouldn't be like shocked.
I like that analysis. That was a great analysis. I just completely agree with the fact that Israel Madrimov and Canelo Alvarez have two completely different body types. Let's get that out the window, first and foremost. But that's a great analysis. I actually agree with Malik. I personally think Terrence Crawford can win this fight.
Yeah.
However, I saw his performance with Israel Madrimov. And don't get me wrong, Israel Madrimov is a very experienced technician. He has a very deep amateur background, and he's seen each and every single style that you can possibly come up with. But Terrence Crawford, respectfully, got hit with way too many right hands. And I'm talking about throughout the fight consistently. And now that is the sport of boxing. Sometimes that happens in a fight. You just can't get away. Our fighter just has you. Israel Madrimov feints a lot. It's really hard to get a fighter's rhythm when he's feinting a lot and being awkward, throwing many, throwaway punches. You don't know what's coming at you. It happens. But personally, he got hit too many times with that right hand. And to be honest with you, I feel like if that was Canelo, it would not be pretty.
But does that mean it's going to happen again, or he can make an adjustment?
He can make an adjustment.
Everybody can make an adjustment, but Canelo can also make an adjustment himself. And to be honest with you, I just don't see. I just what it took Bud at 154 to take that title from Madrimov. I don't see him jumping past 160, going all the way to another weight class at 168. He's never even taken punches at that weight class. He's never taken Canelo's body punches, Canelo's left hook to the liver. He's never taken any of that. And the thing is, Canelo's not. You think Canelo's taking punches from GGG?
The Madrimov fight was Bud's only fight last year, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So he fought once.
And that comes into a play too. And Canelo's been consistently on a roll. Fights two times a week and consistently trains. I personally, for the money, I think Bud would put up a competitive fight. I just think it's going to end up basically the same thing as Amir Khan. If
I was going to bet on it, I would not pick Crawford.
When Amir Khan fought Canelo Alvarez, Amir Khan was boxing beautifully, hitting Canelo with all kind of angles, looking very fast. Canelo was not panicked, caught him in the 6th or 7th round with one punch, and that was all she wrote. Yeah. And I think the same thing now Canelo was in his prime back then. I don't know if the same thing will happen with, Bud, but that left hook that dropped Berlanga looked pretty damn like the same left hook Canelo had, when he dropped and knocked out Amir Khan with one shot. I personally think this is like I said, this is what makes the fight exciting. This is a dangerous fight for Bud, and
Yeah, I don't believe that Canelo has lost, any power on his left hook or anything like that. And like I said, if I was going to bet on it, I wouldn't choose Crawford.
Right.
But to say that he can't win,
I don't think that's
accurate.
That's why I said I'm not going to say. That's why I said I agree with you. I think,
but it's a long way. He's realistically he's coming up from 147.
It's a tough fight. Absolutely.
And Canelo's strength is going to be the difference is going to be noticeable.
And if you realize, look at Jermell Charlo, the 154-pound unified champion, was on a roll when he jumped up and faced Canelo. Canelo, at the sound of the first bell, you have to realize, usually the first round or two is usually a full-out round, unless you just a brawler and just going out there and really have to stain for the guy. You just want to get it over with. That man Canelo walked up and walked within his punch radius without any kind of issue.
And I don't want to compare it to Jermell Charlo.
I'm not going to compare it.
I don't think he had a great approach to that fight.
I'm not going to compare it to Jermell Charlo. I'm just saying the way Canelo disregarded Jermell's power and disregarded.
That's the way he chose to fight it. It worked for him because Charlo.
I think he would do the same. He's going to do the same thing against Crawford, and I think that might be tough for Crawford because the thing is he's going to have somebody that can actually like. It's not the same when you have somebody that's your like.
For Crawford, I think if he takes this fight, it's his last fight. And,
I personally do
he's trying to get this fight.
It should be his last fight.
His money grab, his going out fight.
Right.
He's accomplished everything that he really needs to accomplish in the
now,
sport of boxing.
Absolutely. Now, if Errol Spence beats Fundora.
If that fight ever gets officially on the books,
Yeah.
I'm so sick of this fight.
I don't. Is it even gonna happen at this point?
This is the third time we've talked about it on this podcast, and it still don't have a date.
I honestly don't think it. I don't even know.
PBC has confirmed it already.
There's not a date.
I don't even.
There does not have to be a date.
Man,
That fight is not confirmed.
That's not. I don't.
It's okay.
If that happens, yes, okay, he can have another chance to unify or get undisputed at 154. I guess that's his other route. If he doesn't get the Canelo fight, then do you decide at 37 years old, now I want to complete this gauntlet at 154? Because it is a gauntlet there.
It is.
That he has to go through. Yeah, he can snatch 2 belts on one if he gets Errol or Fundora, but there's still another monster with that 4th belt.
Facts. But let's be honest with you. No fighter at 154 pounds is going to fight every fighter there at 154 pounds. No fighter can do that.
But even then, even if you only go through 2 of those, the other 2 champions, that's still, for somebody who's 37 years old, only fighting once a year.
Yeah.
That's a
I wouldn't
task.
even advise doing that because honestly, I feel like somebody's youth is gonna catch up to him at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Father Time is undefeated.
It always does. Because, I mean, I'm looking at this, it's like, and this article is posted, today is the 6th, so 4 days ago? It's looking like, according to the reports, Canelo would or had demanded upwards of 150 mil for the Crawford fight. Which would Turkey be prepared to pay that?
I believe Turkey would.
I don't know if he's paying 150. Not that he don't have it. Turkey and Canelo.
That is crazy. That's
Turkey
crazy.
and Canelo have not seen eye to eye thus far because Canelo knows he can get what he wants wherever, and Turkey just haven't been able to successfully get on the same page. Canelo claims he gets a percentage of everything in the arena when he fights. Some of the popcorn, some of the drinks, some of the tickets. So
it says here he's demanding
if that's the case, that's fine. But it's like, asking for 150 guarantee is damn near pricing yourself out just because you don't really want to fight Bud.
Right.
Like, I mean,
that's
it's the biggest money fight you can make.
Ladies and gentlemen, that basically just says no. I don't want the fight.
Yeah, that's
price. That's called pricing yourself out, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's another way of ducking in the 21st century.
I mean, who else is there left for Canelo to fight? He's not fighting Benavidez. He's not fighting David Morrell. They already went up to 175 because they can't get him.
Yeah,
he's already fought Caleb Plant. If he'll take
Christian and Bealey.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the hot up and comer at the division.
Christian and Bealey, honestly, is pretty much the hottest. He's the hottest
next in line.
pound.
He's probably next in line, which that's cool. I don't mind that fight. It is Canelo. I mean, he can fight as long as he wants, but I don't think he has many more years left either, based on things that he said in the last couple of press runs he went on. He doesn't want to fight forever, so he probably got two good years left in this.
How many more options does he have?
Yeah, and you can only keep dancing around the matchups the fans want to see for so long if you still...
Promoters only going to keep paying you 40, 50 million for so long.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we'll see what he do. I hope he makes the Bud fight just because it's the only one that has any gas behind it right now.
Right.
Him and William Skull is not going to do nothing for the typical box.
Absolutely not.
It's going to do typical Canelo numbers. 300,000 pay-per-views.
Yep.
Mexico's going to buy it. We're going to see Canelo get a win. And then we move on.
And then we're not gonna care after.
Facts.
Yeah. So that doesn't move the needle for
at
me.
All. It don't for me neither. At all.
So hopefully he makes the Bud fight, even though it's gonna be, that might even be more lopsided. We don't know, but at least it has an element of unknown to it.
Yeah.
Which we need. So.
I agree.
In closing, anything else?
That's it, man.
Nope.
All right. We'll get back with us next time inside the Chamber of Truth.